All right.
It's all easy.
And
we're back again. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how, last week we talked about imposter syndrome. What is it? It's a way our body rejects what we think is success or competency. So when you feel anxious about that, and so how you receive, shut up, Amber.
It's okay.
It's a little hard to explain.
It's always, sometimes it's hard to do part twos as well. Because
Well,
you're like, I was on a roll.
I saw this I saw this really great picture of it. So anyway, it's self-doubt. And this self-doubt happens because how we perceive what is success, right? So if you are if you believe, and there's 5 types of imposter syndrome.
This cracks me up.
Oh my gosh.
It's my fault. I had to pee.
I know.
I ruined the momentum.
The perfectionist.
Yes, okay.
The superwoman, the expert, the soloist, and the natural genius. And that is the ways that we define competence. So each person doesn't feel competent in the same way. We all kind of fit in one of these 5 categories.
Yeah, I'm the perfectionistic natural genius.
Yes.
We determined last time.
Yes, and I am the soloist and the perfectionist.
And for me, if I'm going to be like a good leader, I've got to be a superwoman and an expert at it.
Right. And so that's how we define what is competent. So if we can't be perfect, or we can't be a natural genius, or we can't be an expert, then we're doomed. It's not even worth going there.
And imposter syndrome would be different too, right? Like I would be having imposter syndrome in like my business where I'm the leader of my business.
Right, because you think unless you're an expert,
right,
you don't deserve to talk.
And you have imposter syndrome maybe more. I mean, we all have it in different capacities. I have it as a mom and wife too, but that's where it plays out most for me in my business.
Right. So
last week, what was fascinating to me is like when you defined it, it said for high functioning people.
Yes.
This is what's happened. This is what happens. And we've been to a couple huge conferences together where we hear John Maxwell, and he gets up there and defines, like, he's one of the greatest speakers, one of the greatest authors as far as personal growth. He's up there saying, I still have imposter syndrome.
Yes.
So it never goes away. And my husband, who is an expert at IT and security and all the things, like, he just had a major job change within a year ago, and all the new responsibility that he has, he's like, I feel like I wake up in the morning and I just don't know if I can do this. And I was like, honey, you know more than all the other people you're working with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're listening to you, but he will still stay.
It's self-doubt of intellect,
or if I don't
skills,
have a degree behind my title,
right, accomplishments along high acting people. So that self-doubt of your intellect, skills, and accomplishments is based on how you receive what is competence, right? And so some people see it as being perfect at it. You have to be these things. So that's where those 5 categories come in. How it shows itself, how it displays within your behavior or in your internal body, or however, we call it the 4 P's, which is perfectionism, paralysis, I can't say it, people pleasing, and procrastination. So we're feeling imposter syndrome. We're feeling like we have all this self-doubt. We can't do this by ourselves, therefore it's not worth it. I'm not an expert in this thing, so I should just keep my mouth quiet. I have no value. And that comes out in, it's because I'm not perfect, so we shut down. No one's gonna like me because what if I say something wrong? And then we procrastinate. We don't even show up to the meeting, or we wait till the last second and then we pop in so that we don't have to introduce ourselves or whatever. Like, that's how those imposter syndrome shows itself out.
And that could be any degree of
any
things. Like, after talking that out between the 3 of us, we were like, well, I think probably a little bit of each, but like for me, for sure, I tend to go fetal and just get paralysis. Yeah. Because of usually not being able to execute something perfectly, or not having the perfect results of something that I wanted. So it just shuts me down, and I'm like, and shut it down.
Yep, end scene. So that's kind of what we were talking about. So how do we overcome? We shall overcome. All right, so there's 7 ways. And conquering imposter feelings.
Okay.
So, this is a article that I got from someplace. All right.
Hey, yes.
Aren't you guys so glad I'm scientific? I
We're
am
all
not
about-
an expert.
We're all about the details.
We're all- boldly unprofessional that I am.
That is the best. I think that we need a t-shirt that
Says
says
boldly
boldly
unprofessional.
unprofessional.
Okay, so the first one is learn the facts. So I'm just
Become the expert?
as with all negative emotions, one of the best ways to manage imposter feelings is to address the cognitive distortions contributing to them. Okay, so
Cognitive distortions.
yes, so a
Okay.
simple exercise of asking yourself how you might support a friend who minimizes their accomplishments, and then apply the same supportive language to your own narrative.
Yes, that's so good because we would be so much more supportive of our friend than we would.
So basically, what that means is, acknowledge. Remember, we always say, "Speak it out, speak it out." What's the verse?
We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Yes. So speak out the distortion of your cognitive.
What it's saying is, that's not
distortion.
true. It's
Yeah.
a lie,
Mhm.
right? Whatever it is, it's
So
probably a lie.
okay. So I feel like I'm the worst teacher in the world. If you came to me, you used this last week. If you came to me and said, "I'm giving up art. I'm a complete failure," I would say to you, God created you this way. You can't live a day without being an artist. You are meant to be an artist. What you do is such a gift to other people. It doesn't matter if you're in
Snap
the
out of
Louvre.
it with the-
Get
Listen
your act
to that.
together. Now I should use those same words
Yeah.
to myself.
Yeah.
So good.
So
Yeah.
that's the first one. Learn the facts. What it's like, get yourself together.
Yeah.
Share. This is so good. Number 2, share your feelings.
2%. Surround yourself
Yes,
with community.
yes,
We talked about
yes,
that. Yeah.
yes. So if you don't trust your own quote unquote facts,
Mhm.
sharing your imposter feelings with others can not only reduce loneliness, but also open doors for others to share what they see in you.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Asking for feedback is kind of that. Is that those?
Like,
Just let
just
someone
your-
speak truth over you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like with me, when I had my friend Laura pray for me and just be like, these are all lies. Like, let's pray about this together. This is not true. You know, my husband saying, honey, you're a good teacher. You know, like having other people speak over.
Well, the word there is feelings.
Yeah.
Right.
Feelings.
It's not true.
It's just how I feel. It's not as you said the first time. It's not the facts.
Yes.
It's not truth, but we act on our feelings.
Yes.
Right.
And so
Especially
share
as
those.
women.
So share those feelings, and then if you can't receive your own facts, receive other people's facts. So share your feelings. Number 3, celebrate your successes. People who struggle with imposter feelings tend to brush off their successes, which exasperates the experience. If someone congratulates you, you don't move on too fast. Pay attention of how you respond and aim to speak more positively about yourself. So, if someone says, sit in the kindness, I would say, like celebrate that. Like if I
It's hard
Receive
for
it.
me.
Receive it.
receive it,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
hard for me too.
it is so
Whenever people are
hard.
like celebrate the small wins, I'm just like, will you shut up?
Yeah.
I want only the big wins. I mean,
Somebody needs to take that to Jesus.
Well, it's like I get it, celebrate the small wins, but then I still feel like I'm failing, in some specific arenas.
but I don't think
That's why it's so important to celebrate.
that's why you have to celebrate and sit in
No, I'm
it.
saying I get it. I just, in reality,
You
it's
have
hard
to
for me.
do it. Do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be gold. I want to be diamond.
I know.
Yeah.
So I think that, but also there's this learning to trust that you can be successful. I think is part of it too. Like if Rach, you've been my biggest cheerleader about Christmas school. Like this is amazing. Look, it's already full. Can you believe that?
Oh, I have 1,000 other ideas about what you could do instead of
I know.
school.
And then
It's a
French
great,
school next.
it's
I
a
know.
great concept.
right,
Yeah.
and then the two of you, I reached out to you like, do I open another day? And you were both like, yes, you do. So allowing and opening and giving freedom to be successful. So now if I do open up a French school, I can rest in the success of Christmas school and say, okay, this will work. Let's say French school isn't as successful. Well, now I'm not going to feel as imposter because I know it can work because Christmas school works. So now I just need to pivot a little bit, and it doesn't have to unravel me because I've really embraced the success of the first thing.
Yeah.
Or within the framework of a success, you can be like, okay, well that didn't work. They didn't love French school as much, but maybe we should do summer school, or we should do spring school, or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think French school not succeeding.
It's gonna hurt you.
It's gonna if you properly receive the success.
Success.
Receive the success of Christmas school. That is so many S's. Oh my word.
From P's to S's.
Oh my
a lot of
land.
letters in here.
Okay, are you ready?
Was that number 4?
That was number 3. Number 4. This is gonna be the hard one. We might have to settle here for a second.
All right, ready. Bring it.
I don't even want to read it. Let go of perfectionism.
Okay.
We all know
Because
that's
done is
impossible.
better than perfect. It's not impossible.
No,
right.
It's the only way we've grown. It's the only way I've grown in my business is to be like, done is better. It is better than
That is
perfect.
almost word for word what this says. It says
Okay.
you don't have to lower the bar, but adjusting your standards for success can make it easier to see and internalize your accomplishments.
Yeah.
What? That,
So like,
lowering the bar, I think you have to lower the bar.
right. Meaning like
Wow.
what she was saying about you, like doing
Or
you don't have like if your goal is to be the top 2% of your company in Plexus, like that's called the diamond, right? So like if you're like
No, that's me. And you're like the top 8 or 9%. We're already the top percentage in the ranks that we are.
well whatever, I don't know. I don't speak
know what I'm just
Plexus,
saying.
but
But it's so easy to be like,
Yeah.
that's not being like, you have kept your rank for month after month after month after month. Like you are the top 5 or 6 percentile in the entire company. It's huge,
right.
But,
But she's like
no, she's
diamond or death.
yeah.
And so
Minimizing.
right.
Minimizing.
Right. And so
yeah.
what they're saying is don't lower your bar in meaning like I give up on
I'm
the
still gonna get to
accomplishments.
this goal.
Yeah.
But just instead of saying I'm going to become, it's like running a marathon. You don't
I
go
get it.
like get out and you're like, you know what, today I'm gonna do 26 miles.
Well, let me tell you, I've signed up for a half marathon 2 weeks from now.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
Oh yeah, I do it every winter with Jesse.
Is he
Oh,
gonna do
yeah,
it
yeah,
too?
yeah.
He's not
done.
gonna do it this year. Just Dawn and I.
Aw.
But
Aw.
like I've done no more than 6 miles, and I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be really painful, and I'm probably gonna have to walk a lot of it, but I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And I know I'm gonna cross the finish line. It's not gonna be pretty, but I've lowered my expectation because I know my lack of prep, and I'm okay with that this time.
Right. And so it would be different. That's letting go of the perfectionism.
Yeah.
Instead of being like,
Perfect.
I'm going
It
to
is.
run it and I'm gonna win.
yeah.
I have
Or
never
I'm not gonna run it because I can't
Yeah.
win at all.
I'm
Right.
gonna run it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop at every mile station and I'll have whatever snacky they offer me. I'm probably gonna walk a lot. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fun.
right. Instead of not running at all because you're not gonna win it.
Which my old self wouldn't do that. I would not run at all.
That
I'd be
is-
like, I'm
that
not
is-
ready.
Woo!
That is
Let
the
go.
battle with Plexus in particular because it is so out of my skill set.
Mhm.
I am an artist. That
Mhm.
is what I live and breathe. This
Yeah.
whole thing, this other arena that God has still called me to, and He
Yeah.
won't release me,
Yeah, same.
is not in my gift mix. I don't think hardly at all. He shows me things about
Mhm.
so much personal growth, but it is the thing where I let perfectionism, imposter syndrome, stop me the most. Where I'm just
Yep.
like, "Ugh, if I can't do this and look good on camera, if I
Mhm.
can't do this and look good with good graphics, if I
Mhm.
can't do this and show up and know what I'm talking about, but for the couple months, like you said last week, where I was showing up even alone,
Mhm.
I was literally braless one of those mornings on a Zoom call. Of course, I was just with myself.
And
But-
she told all of us. Into the little picture.
But I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it! And
Yeah.
I'm doing it completely rolling out of bed and imperfect. And
Yes.
sometimes that's all we've got. Other times we wake up early, we beast it out, we put on earrings, we have a little bit of makeup on. But not every time is going to be like that. And sometimes for some endeavors, you just literally have to be willing to show up.
Yeah.
I also think these are kind of building on each other, right?
Mhm.
So like
Yeah.
the more compassionate, the more you share, the more you challenge your own feelings, the more you do that, then the more you will let go of perfectionism, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're doing 1, 2, and 3, number 4, letting go of perfectionism is going to be easier. It's
Right.
going to be a lot harder if you're not sharing your feelings with anyone.
Mhm.
You're not challenging your feelings.
We've actually
finding the
learned
facts.
that people love when you show up real. They love that you're willing to
'Cause
still.
it makes them feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh well, if she can do that,
Yeah.
whatever, and still, like, no, it wasn't perfect, or she didn't win,
Yeah.
but she
crossed the finish line.
yeah. I rolled over the finish line. I was being pushed.
That would be me. Someone carried me.
Someone carried me.
So number 5 is cultivate self-compassion.
Ooh.
Self-compassion is using mindfulness to shift from external or okay.
I love it when you don't read things ahead.
Well, no, I just was like, wait, there's so many things because it's like a person writing it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Obviously.
No, like
that is what words are. Someone has to write.
Somebody wrote this, you guys.
Hey, give me a second. Somebody wrote this, okay? I need a minute.
okay. I'm feeling a lack of self-compassion from it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm like,
Well, let me read I have my readers on. never
Definitely
mind.
one of the top 10 best moments right there.
Guys, somebody wrote this. Give me a minute.
Oh no, it's like, as Irvin describes it, using mindfulness to shift from an external locus of self-worth to an internal one can help you let go of perfectionism. Okay.
Locusts?
Locus.
Okay.
That's locus, right?
A locust, not a bug locust.
No, I don't know what it means. So I was like, external locus. What?
Practice self-compassion. We know what that means. Let's be nice to ourselves.
Guys, all I can see is a grasshopper.
I know, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was like, wait a minute, what is this?
The non-science explanation is be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace.
That's
Like-
number.
Oh, pursuing community over competition
Oh, that's good.
will help
That
with
was
that.
number 6.
Cultivate self-compassion.
Oh, okay.
Seeing that being kind to yourself, not feeling like everything has to be a competition, seeing
Yeah.
things as community. I think that's what they're trying to say with all these big words. This is when you go on Psychology Today. What
And just be
happens?
kind to yourself. Like if you be kind to yourself. Nobody showed up for summer school. Be like, it's okay. Like that was a kiss from the Lord because of what happened in life. It's okay. I know that. I know
Right.
what I still bring to the table. I know that I'm not a failure.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna pivot and do Christmas school and.
But that's so easy. Like, yeah, we're saying that now. The reality is,
Oh,
it
I
was
was a
super
mess.
embarrassing. It was painful.
But that's
it
why
was
you cultivate
humbling.
community.
That's right. Cultivating community. And cultivating community, again, I think these all kind of build on each other.
Is that
right?
number 6? Cultivate
No,
community?
number 6
Oh.
is hold on tight,
Mhm.
share your failures. You did a whole podcast on that.
I did.
Yeah, about not being afraid of failure. You know?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
And you're doing it right
Recently?
now. In
Yes.
class too, because you're just like, I did this, it didn't work out, so I'm doing this now.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah,
actually
so good.
booming. So
Hearing
yeah.
what other people think of you isn't the only way to grow out of imposter phenomenon. This lady, this
This writer.
psychologist, said discussing failures in a group can help paint a more realistic portrait of what other people are struggling with.
Like what I was talking about with you. Like you want to be famous and whatever, but like we're comparing.
I don't wanna be famous.
Well, no, but I mean, like your artwork
Yeah.
or what your books and stuff. Like
Mhm.
we compare ourselves, like our chapter 2 to people's chapter 50 who have arrived.
Yeah.
We don't see all the in between, all of their fails, all the no's they got, all the
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
So when we all share, well, actually, before I got like John Maxwell at convention, when someone's like, I want to be a speaker like you,
Yeah.
and he's like, okay. The very first time I spoke years ago, and I asked my wife, he's like, I thought I killed it, and he's like, how did I do? And she's like, I love you. So he's like, if you want to be like me, you got to show up really messy for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think of 2 people, just unless you're on a roll here, but the artist NF, who I love, one of his songs is basically like, you think this person is great, but you don't realize that they've been doing this for 8 years or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like, I forget the number, but it was like, you think that all of a sudden this person is famous. All of a sudden they've been grinding it out. And then this other comedian, who I won't name because he's actually really crass, but his journey is fascinating. For 12 years, he's been a comedian. And now, because of TikTok and one video that went viral, he is now like, it's changed his life. But he's like, the 12 years, that's more than a decade
that he fought.
of showing up, being rejected, showing
Being unknown.
being completely unknown. People make, it's like
Heckled and
the grind, the grit
The grit.
of that. is unbelievable.
So good.
She said that she
So
had a group of junior professors, and at their field, she encourages people in different businesses and things to like get together and share their failures with each other to help each other see like, oh, I've done that too. And she said that when they do that in in different professions, the entire company always grows because it stops being about competitiveness to community. And if you see the top exec saying, oh yeah, I used to do that all the time, the junior execs like, well, geez Louise, if he made that mistake, I can grow and sometime be there. So sharing your failures.
Like to take it, what we say, we'll take our walls down first.
Yes. Well, you saw my walls all come down, me even trying to read. And then the last one is to accept it. As you learn to work through the imposter phenomenon, I like that they call it that, it will probably interfere less with your well-being. But taming imposter feelings doesn't mean they'll never show up again. So accept that they're going to happen and work through them. Remember that imposter feelings can arise at any career shift, especially in people you surround yourself with different achievements. So knowing that
so good,
that it's gonna happen. So like, don't panic. Like me, when I was panicking, and Peter's like, "What are we gonna do here? Like, is this gonna happen before every inspection?" And I was thinking about it. And last night, as we were walking the dog, and we were kind of talking about how successful my I will be licensed Monday after I get 2 shots. I have to get 2 shots in my arm and then I'm licensed.
Nothing like last minute.
I know.
Procrastinator.
It's how I deal with my imposter syndrome.
One of the 5 P's.
And so, but what it was interesting was Peter was like, honey, I hope that this success will make the next time she comes in for an inspection less scary. And I think it will be.
Less life altering.
Yes. So I have to just accept it. Yes. Am I going to be anxious? And it was so funny. I was at the Lazy Hound. I'm sure this shocks everybody who listens. My favorite restaurant. And I was talking to my friend, the owner, Karen, and telling her about, I'm having this inspection. And she goes, Amber, every time I know the health inspector's coming, I am anxious. I don't sleep the night before. And she's like, I know I'm doing everything right. She goes above board. She's so, but she's like, I'm such a perfectionist. I want to do well. I want to have a good name. I want to have a good reputation. I want my restaurant to succeed. She's like, even though we've never been dinged on anything, I still, every single night before, cannot sleep like clockwork. And I was like, all right. And she's like, I just now accept it.
Yeah.
She says, I'm just going to have a rough night. I'll get through it. I'll sleep really well the next night. And that's exactly what happened with me. So
one of my mottos with my business is, I even had a shirt made, but did you die?
yeah.
So like, say something does happen that I don't want it to, or say that I have a scary thing I need to do and I'm just going to step into it,
Yep.
and I may do a great job at it and I might not, but like, regardless, did I die? No.
Yeah.
If you get dinged, did you die?
No.
If, you try French school and only 2 kids show up, did you die? Look, we're going to pivot. I think just like laying it out there, like it's not going to be the end of the world. And the more times we do things, the more times we show up or do this scary thing, it does it's a muscle. We exercise the muscle every day that we show up, every day that we step into the thing that we're afraid of, every day that we do the thing that's scary, we're exercising this grit muscle, and we show up and we show up, and it gets easier.
And the things that we're doing can be really hard. Like all of the endeavors that all 3 of us are working on right now, multiple endeavors, all of us, are hard things that require time, that require logistics, thought, creativity, heart, grit, waking up and thinking about the same thing or trying to eke out the same, all the, and I lost my train of thought.
Well, here's some other, this was another one. This is a quicker version that's not so scientific. I tried to do the scientific one for you, Amy. But here's some other easy tips. 1, know you're not alone. 2, distinguish humility and fear. What are you feeling humiliated about? What's humbling you or making you uncomfortable? And what is you're actually afraid of? And distinguishing those 2 things so that you can...
Do you walk into both of them anyway?
I would say that I think if you speak them out, you'll be able to walk. I mean, God says that we're going to be humbled. Yeah. So like, here I go. Yeah. Like it's humble to have someone come into my house and inspect it. And she was like peering around and like looking at my things and I'm like, oh, she's gonna like my toys, and she did, or like that's humbling, humility, and then what is my fear? My fear, those are different. Is she gonna like me?
Yep.
Is she gonna like me? Is the fear? Is she going to fail me? Is she gonna like me? Is the humbleness and the humility? Is she going to fail me, and I'm not going to be able to have a license, and I have all these people pre-registered for Christmas school, and now I have to tell everybody I'm a big failure? That's the fear.
I was not going to let that happen. I was going to be like, just do it anyway.
I know.
I mean, I
Yes.
would.
I know.
I would
So
be
did
like, what are you
Catherine.
going to do? Come after me. What are you going to do? Shut down Christmas school?
Let go let go of your inner perfectionist. We've kind of talked about be kind to yourself, and that's number 4. We talked about that in a less and more scientific way that I'm obviously should stay away from.
Your inner locus.
Track and measure your successes. So again, celebrate those successes so that you can see that you're not the worst.
Are all 3 of us kind of like, yeah, success, onward?
Yes.
I think all 3 of us are kind of like that. And so
John
that's
Maxwell says he gives himself and his team 24 hours to mourn a failure and sit in the sadness.
Yes.
And to celebrate a success and sit in the win. We get 24 hours and then we move on. I think that's interesting. That's what he does.
Okay.
I think how I've been trained with my business is at the end of every month, before you look ahead and charge ahead, is you look back and be like, okay, what did we do well? And really list the things you did well. What are some accomplishments? What am I proud of? What did I do well? And then, okay, what am I going to work to improve on this next month? So it's not just constantly like blazing forward and not ever. I think you need to sit in it a little bit, and then for all the things, for what I can do better, and also like, actually, I didn't do this. I had my goals set for this, and then moving forward, I have goals that I set for myself every month, and at the end of the month, I'm like, well, I didn't hit this one, but I did
That
okay.
fascinates me. That I wish I had that skill, because I don't set goals unless I know I can get them, and then they're not really goals.
They're not goals.
I know.
Yeah, it's true.
And then I panic
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not going to. So then I get paralyzed and go, well, just another reason why I'm completely unworthy and unlovable. So I'll just go and crawl in this hole and die.
Part of the business that Rach and I are a part of is we are surrounded by people who are further down the road from us and better than us, and so it's always semi-intimidating, but it's actually really good. Like, what's the phrase? High tide raises all ships. High waters.
Yep.
And so John Maxwell will say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
If you're the expert in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like, you need to be putting yourself in a place where you're challenged to grow, you're challenged to be better, you're challenged to, I didn't know that. And that's humbling and scary.
And uncomfortable.
But that's how we grow in every arena. Yeah. Mothering, parenting.
I do love the 24-hour. I mean, I think we should
I don't
settle on
know. I
our
don't do
successes
that
a little bit more, but I
necessarily.
do think in failures, like I had a sweet girl that mom was away, and she got into her first car accident, and so the mom called me and was like, can you go comfort this sweetie? And I was like, of course. And she was so it was just a little fender bender, and it was nothing traumatic. It was the person she hit was nice, but she was just completely shaken. So I got her in the car. Peter drove her car home so she didn't have to drive, and we were in the car, and I said, she's like, I'm never driving again, and this is awful, and now everyone's gonna say, and I literally stopped her and I said, how about you give yourself 24 hours to just be sad? Uncle Peter is that's what she calls us. Uncle Peter's gonna get you some ice cream
I love that.
and some chips and some junk food, and you're gonna go home and you're gonna wash your face and you're gonna get in your jammies and you're gonna eat it and you're gonna watch some crappy TV and you're gonna wallow for 24 hours, and then you're gonna go drive and know that everyone's forgiven you. It's not
the end of
it's not the end of the world.
And it happens to all of
Every-
us.
And it'll happen again.
And it will happen again.
Yeah, the thing is, I think hopefully the point has been driven. Like we're talking about people that are successful, that do great things. That this is still a narrative that we battle. This is still something that we struggle with, and it's normal, and it's overcomable. Meaning, like, you can still feel the feelings and still press forward.
Yes. And that's what the next one was on this one of like little tips is say yes to new opportunities.
Do something scary.
Keep doing, keep pushing, keep succeeding, so that when you succeed, the failures feel less. That you can see you can do new things, you can try new things, and embrace that feeling and use it. Like embrace embrace your feelings of fear and use that to propel you versus to shut down. It's always, for me, it always goes back to use your triggers as cues. So like if you're feeling paralyzed, like I do and you do, Rach, we can sit in that and go, okay, I'm feeling paralyzed right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get up and fold laundry so that I can see that I can succeed. You know, like, look, all this, yeah, I did all the laundry. Or I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna get up and walk my dog so that I can feel the fresh air and get that, you know, like get my body moving so that I can say, even if the rest of this day was a total wash, I walked my dog. You know, like take that feeling. So imposter syndrome happens to everyone. I agree with you, Rach. I think the most fascinating thing is it's for high achieving people. So praise the Lord that we at least want to achieve and we're, you know, that's no way to spin it. And, you know, we all struggle with it. And
well, thanks for sharing your story about like actually failing forward and turning something that at
so
first was
hard,
really
you guys.
disheartening and discouraging into something gorgeous and really creative, really outside the box. And I think it's just the beginning of just a long-term way of teaching children where you get to control, like it's in these short bursts, you know, and your heart where it's like, do you parents need a break during this vacation time? Like I'm setting up this really precious school, precious school for 4 weeks where it's like we're gonna do concentrated learning on these specific things. Like that's so cool.
Well, that's the Charlotte Mason way. So I do think that that's part of it, but I'm excited. But it is funny how the Lord uses our hardships to sanctify us, because I felt incredibly beat down by it, and then, you know, and I went all the way to, you know, I'm not supposed to, I'm not even good at this, I don't even, and then to have my house full of children the other day was delightful, and I forgot how delightful it was.
Yeah.
And I forgot how much. I was like, oh yeah, these are my people. Meaning the little ones. The grown-ups freak me out, but the little ones are wonderful.
Go get yourself a coffee.
Grown-ups freak me out too. I'm not a grown-up.
You are. I hate to break it to you.
I know.
So yes, thanks guys.
So good.
Fight the feelings. You've got this.
So good. Get your inner locus under control.
I was like, what?